Good morning, or afternoon, rather, everyone. I'm Dr. Serapin again, greeting you with another lesson in holy hype. I want to thank you all, or all of you who did come to class on the first day and did make comments about the YouTube videos that I sent you. I hope you enjoyed that commercial. It seems a lot of you have seen it before I saw it. Um, I don't watch a lot of television. Well, yeah, I do. I don't know. Anyway, I just hadn't seen it until about a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I had to share that with you because it's a perfect example of holy hype. And you may want to ask yourself if the advertising creative people, or we call them creatives for short, were sitting in a room and thinking, okay, we have the Match.com account and we have to come up with a new, very exciting campaign for them to leave 2020 behind and move on with 2021, a fresh new year of matchmaking. What are we going to do? Now, they're looking at a blank sheet of paper, they're looking at their notepad, whatever, and they're tossing ideas around. So this is the creative brainstorming session. Now, they probably said, well, what could we say about 2020? We're leaving that year behind. We're moving on to bigger and better things. What was 2020? And somebody might have said evil. 2020 was evil. Or 2020 was bad. 2020 was creepy. 2020 is something I never want to meet again. Oh, you never want to meet 2020 again. Let me see. Meet. Okay, well, you get on Match to meet somebody. Okay, who would be the most likely creature or person to represent evil? Now, of course, they don't want to get into naming a real person. If you name a real person, then you're stuck and somebody's going to sue you. And if you were to take my mass media law class, you'd know defamation is a bad thing. You can be sued out of your mind for it. Okay, we want to stay away from that. What things in history represent evil? Oh, the devil. The devil. Oh, okay. Okay. So, let's say the devil isn't the evil, isn't 2020, but the devil comes on to Match to meet someone like him, like himself, someone who is also bad, does bad things, is evil. If it's a woman, because we're assuming the devil is a man, if it's a woman, what do we call her? Oh, we call her 2020. We want to meet 2020. Aha. So 2020 is the kind of year that the devil would like to meet again, right? So you can see where this comes from, a discussion of these things. There may have been other ideas, but perhaps they couldn't have taken those ideas far enough. So they landed on the devil meets 2020, or as he said, 2020. That was her number. So I wanted you to see that and start to think behind the scenes. Why does somebody use holy hype? Well, does everybody know who the devil is? I would bet that, okay, we'll give them 95%, 97% of the people who might be watching that would know who the devil is and would recognize him as a red person with horns, who is large, who is not necessarily clumsy, but big and powerful. Okay? And then they pick a nice looking gal who's kind of soft and you would not think that she would represent a year like 2020. But as it turns out, they're a perfect match. So they didn't say, let's do something religious. That's not how they started out. They started out with the substance of the message. The substance of the message. And as I indicated to some of you, and I sent this clip from When Harry Met Sally, in the second commercial, some of you didn't quite understand where that was coming from. Well, it came right out of When Harry Met Sally. So please look at that YouTube video that I sent you. Okay, so we're going to start with the text of the book, even though I'm sending it to you chapter by chapter, and hopefully next semester, when I have students in this class, they will have an actual book. And then if you want to, you will be able to purchase the actual book, which will have about 250 examples of ads and products and things that represent holy hype. So the book is called Holy Hype, Religious Fervor in the Advertising of Goods and the Good News. So you can watch the PowerPoint along with me as I get into the first slide number 2. Holy Hype is just one advertising approach among many, perhaps dozens, I don't even know. It usually abides by the normal principles of advertising. However, sometimes it violates those principles. Now, when we say it violates those principles, I think we would think, generally speaking, the average person, that you don't want your product or your service or your company or your brand associated with something that is really out there, something that is offensive, something that is overly sexualized. You want to keep a limit on that. You can use some of it, but you'll know when you've gone over the line because the public will tell you. Trust me. But you don't want to wait until that happens. You want to have the good sense to know when something tends to go over that line. So if you look at the one on the left, and I'm going to ask you to write on this in tomorrow's class, this is a pita ad, railing against the treatment of chickens by people like KFC and other companies that make fried chicken. They cage their chickens. I don't invite you to go onto YouTube and see these horrible videos of how chickens are treated. They are thrown back and forth like a ball. At any rate, what they're doing is, it says, to animals, all people are Nazis. They're comparing cooped up chickens to people in Nazi concentration camps. Think about that for a moment, because I'm going to ask you to write about that on Tuesday. And then PETA has another one to the right of that, where they take a strictly sexualized sacred images. We have an angel, and she is known to be an angel, and the headline is "Be an Angel for Animals, Always Adopt, Never Buy." I agree with that sentiment. I agree with that headline. Do I agree with the image? I don't think so. But PETA is not afraid. They've been outraging people for decades. We have an angel, and you can see, we know, not only from her wings, but from the halo over her head, she is holding a Christian cross. And I think if I were to look close enough, it might even be a crucifix, but I think it's just a cross. She is holding the two bars that come out. They cover parts of her breasts, And the bottom part of the cross covers her pubic area. Uh, and then you have the little dogs here underneath, and you're supposed to feel sorry for them, but this angel has come to save them and everything. Um, I'm not a Christian, but I find that offensive. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe you think it's funny. Maybe you're not religious and it doesn't insult your religious sensibilities. At any rate, I'm looking for a Kleenex. Um, at any rate, I'm going to stop right here and continue in the next segment.